And welcome back to round 3 of the Northern Ontario Championships. This is at Bondi Resort this round 3 for the FPO division. And they are playing Wolf Tracks. I'm Colleen McInnes.
I'm Jess Sparrow, and Northern Ontario Championships is presented by Diameter Apparel, and we got a couple other sponsors to thank here. We got Top Link Disc Golf.
Yeah, we got Gripped and Ripped More Propane. Thank you for sponsoring. Awesome. And of course, Spencer and Mac for helping run, and Corey, big shout out for the TDs. I'm sure there's more that I don't know. Wolf Tracks, the course itself, hosting us. And we are an OCC qualifying event, which means the players will qualify for their division for provincials. This is a PDGA sanctioned event, and thank you to PDGA Canada for sponsoring our event.
All right, time for some player intros. Alicia, where's my hat? There's her hat, all the way from Sudbury.
Looking good, playing good. And we got Irina up next. She's from Rossport, Ontario. Up and coming, watch out for her this winter. She's going to be playing out in the States. In third place,
Alexandra, ready to crush it. This is how she warms up and eats birdies for breakfast.
That's right. And then rounding out our card, we have Kat Johnson back again, playing back up to the lead card. Great job, Kat. And we have our players playing hole 1. Starting on hole 1 this time, the second round they did start on a different hole. So we're doing tee times today. They only have 1 round today.
Yeah, so this is a par 4 to get started. Distance 477 feet. Looks like a little bit of a tricky hole to start on. So Colleen, take us through how you would tackle this hole.
Definitely managing distance. So it's only 477 feet.
Only.
Like, you could throw 350 shots and be sitting pretty. But what you want to do really is where that camera was at first. You really want to land in that opening. Like we were saying, the hill is really the tough part of that landing. Kind of don't want to be on a hill, but it deceptively makes you throw a little too high.
Oh, and Alicia crushing one down there. Look at that shot.
I think that's probably the best you want to hope for. Like, you don't want to bite off too much there. So that's a perfect spot.
I know this is a fresh day for these ladies. If you didn't catch the other coverage, round 1 and round 2 were played on the same day. So they're coming up fresh, coming out hot.
And this was the hardest hole yesterday. So they're actually starting on their hardest hole, which is a little intimidating coming out. Got Alex ripping one down the middle. That looks pretty nice. Getting a little short, but still in a good position.
And we got Kat
coming in hot. Look at that long hair. I love it.
Love the hairdo.
Cute ponytail. She's always styling.
Yeah, she's got disc golf style. She might be a little bit disappointed with that, but I think she snaked through a little bit.
Yeah, it got some distance on it, which is always, you always feel good about, because even if you're pitching out from farther up. Irina's in a tough spot. She's on the right side of the fairway, having to pitch back to where we said that landing zone is.
Yeah, that's smart disc golf too, right? You don't want to overshoot it. You don't want to try and be like, oh, I can punch it all the way to the basket or something like that. Sometimes the smarter approach is just put it back in the fairway.
Yeah. Nicking a tree there. Kat was hoping for a bit more, I think. That's it was a good line. Tough hit there.
Yeah, so as the players are playing out this hole, I'm going to do a quick score recap here. Alicia Hums is leading with 6 over, Irina S 11 over, Alexandra P 12, and Kat Johnson at 18. So still a lot of golf left here. Alicia 5-stroke lead, Irina and Alexandra 1 apart, and Kat trying to catch up 6 strokes back.
That's right. And these ladies are looking for par today. The scores yesterday were a bit above par. And so for them to par out every single hole, like, you want to be aggressive. You want to get birdies. But if you're parring every hole, you're probably winning. So that's the goal today. Really manage those tough holes. Take what you can get. Just a beautiful shot there from Alex.
Well, we saw her eat her birdies for breakfast and lift that cart over her head, so she's been practicing for those amazing flick shots. And a good shot here, too, from Alicia.
She's putting her whole body into that one. That one was nice.
Give it all you got. This is the last round. This is the time where you go big or go home.
Kind of in a similar position to Alicia, but a little bit further up, doing the same kind of thing. Let's get back on. you know, a little bit off what you could consider the fairway if there was a bigger fairway.
It's the forest. Everything's a fairway.
Everything seems like the fairway. There's trees everywhere. So Kat getting a nice up and down there. We'll see Alex throwing her third shot here and getting right up there. Nice and cozy.
Speaking of cozy, these players are dressed for the weather today. It looks a little bit chilly out there at Bondi. Wolf Tracks at Bondi. And that comes into effect. You know, 3-round tournament. You also have fall weather in Muskoka to contend with. So, and these players look nice and cozy. Some even wear mittens. You got to keep those fingers nice and warm.
That's right. And a good toss up there from Alicia. So she's looking pretty good from her third shot.
Good putt from Arena. Builds a little bit of confidence to start when you're making putts off the jump.
Yeah. I know she'd be hoping that was a par, but a bogey, but a par for Alex. So that feels good to par the first hole. You just kind of want to get through. A little debate about who wants to go first. Nobody ever wants to go ahead of someone because you just don't want to be rude. But typically nobody cares. You just have to make sure you ask. Just say, you're cool. And I love that. All the women are always like, oh yeah, of course.
Are you up? Am I up? Just go. It's okay. Good putt here from Alicia. She's been consistent on her putting throughout the last 2 rounds, and we aim to see that, or expect to see that, for the next 17 holes as well. And speaking of holes, we're on to hole 2 here. It is a par 5, 605 feet, so very challenging hole here. A little bit of elevation on the way to the basket. Colleen, take us through the game plan on how you would tackle this hole.
Definitely managing that fairway. Like we said, that, you know, going off fairway is tough because it really throws you off. But when your fairway is this narrow and there's kind of trees scattered about, you really just want to play to somewhere where when you land, you're going to be taking advantage of your kind of throw. So like we were talking about, if you go back and watch round 2, we were talking a lot about this with Hannah and her forehand. All these women are backhand dominant. So you really, on this first part, you want to land a little bit left so you have a bit of a hyzer. And the second part, you want to land in the middle so that you can go uphill with that little bit of understable. And like we said, there's a little bit of a slope behind. You don't want to go too far on your last upshot there. So I like to, you know, think about where my second shot and where my landing is based on that, not just the trees. So if I would say, I think they're all trying to go a little bit left. Like Alicia is just, you can see it was gonna hyzer there. You don't want to end up on that right side with no forehand, or not a confident forehand.
Let's see how Alexandra does here. Big hyzer backhand.
Yeah, and I like that. And she didn't go in the trees.
Right in the middle. That's all you can really ask for here off the tee. Down there and in the middle. An Arena with a good rip off the tee pad.
Ooh, that got the distance too. That's nice.
And what have we been saying? Shoot for the cameraman. Yeah. They always pick the best spots. And rounding out the box here, we got Kat Johnson. Let's see how she tackles this hole.
Ooh, good kick back. She didn't want to hug that right side so much, but can't argue with being on that fairway.
Little tree love back in the fairway for sure. Now Alicia, she looks a little bit nestled here up to the trees.
Yeah, and like I was saying, you know, is there a fairway? Because sometimes when you're in the trees like this, like what she just did, she took an unconventional route and it worked so well. You just kind of want to be in a position, not necessarily a specific spot, but a position where a certain throw for you is going to work.
Playing to your advantages here to try and get strokes on folks as we are rolling into round 3 of the Northern Ontario Championships presented by Diameter Apparel. And we got Alexandra here lining up for that forehand approach to the basket.
Yeah, and the nerves can be everything on a day like this. You really do want to kind of go for everything. Really be the most confident you can be.
Yeah, go for everything when you can, right? You want to get strokes on folks, but you also want to kind of protect your lead or protect where you're sitting as well.
Yeah, I think Alicia's going to be a lot more focused on layups and being smart. And I think Irina and Alex and Kat are really very much focused on, walking in almost ignorantly confident. You're like, I can make that shot. I can do that thing every time because it matters every time. You don't want to walk away, lose by one stroke and go, oh, I wish I didn't lay that hole up. So it's very much, I think they're all going to be looking at their scores today and looking at what they need to do as they go along.
Kat here taking a patent pending to try and get some distance down that fairway. Really wooded hole, really long hole here on hole 2. And so as long as you can put yourself in a good position for the next shot, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah, like where Alicia is right now, she's very much looking straight, which can be a huge advantage. That can be a shot that you like. But like I was saying, you could go a little bit more on the left side and you have kind of more of a hyzer uphill. And maybe that's more comfortable for you. So you really got to play to what your strengths are. So you're the most confident when you throw.
Kat finding a little bit of trouble there.
And you can see they're like in winter jackets. The wind is ripping. It's quite chilly on this Sunday in the fall, October
and that
season.
impacts, your release point, your rotation, everything, right? Whether it's extra clothes or the cold causing tension in your form itself, all of that comes into play here, especially when you're playing these late season tournaments in Canada.
Yeah. Yep. Unlike a lot of places in the world, we do have an off season that's quite long. So this is one of the last tournaments of the year that's going to be sanctioned. And they don't pick up again until like April, May. That's a nice shot from Alicia. She really played this whole smart, managing.
Played it like a textbook, or playing it like a textbook.
Yeah. Never getting too aggressive. The drive was beautiful, though. That really is key.
I felt that, Irina. I felt that from here.
Oh, the roll. It's tough, too. There's not a lot you can say about that except poor luck.
Except been there.
Yeah.
And a good recovery there. She'll have a good putt from there. And
Ooh.
a little flyby.
I mean, we traded one great forehander for another, too. Glad to see Kat throwing up those forehands.
Good putt from Alexandra there. And these ladies still warming up. This is hole 2 of their final round here at the Northern Ontario Championships. And Irina cashing her putt. She'll walk away with a par on this hole. Come on, Kat. Beautiful putt. Unfortunately, she's walking away with a double bogey here. A little bit of trouble getting up the fairway with some trees. Alexandra cashing 1-2. She'll walk away with a par.
And she's had, if you haven't watched the other coverage, go back. She's had quite a few eagle opportunities on some of these par 5s, so.
Effortless distance from Alexandra across all 3 rounds so far.
Really great.
And some effortless putting, very consistent putting from Alicia.
Well, look, textbook, no concerns there.
All right, and we are rolling into hole 3. This is a par 4. Distance on this is 514 feet. A little bit of a downhill through a gap action. Colleen, walk us through the play on this hole.
Now, I was saying I like the turnover on this shot a lot more because I think it opens up to the right side after that first gap. But, you see a lot of people just trying to hit the right side because they're a bit more confident with a hyzer. So we will see. I think we might have kind of a split of whether people go a little bit straighter hyzer or a little bit of a turnover on that drive. And then it's really all about, getting that position to be able to have a exceptional second shot and hopefully a tap-in birdie.
That's how we're going to draw it up here.
Yeah.
Let's see if Alicia can get down the fairway and catches a tree a little bit early there off the tee.
It's always hard when it's one of those first available. Thinking all through your head about was it the right disc or a bit high, but look at that line.
Gets a well way through all of those trees, and she'll have a great second shot there, Alexandra.
That was a great straight shot. And this is what I like. I love this. Turnover, because you're going the right way the whole time. So even if she hits down like that, she's still on the right side of the fairway for her next shot.
Yeah, and I think she threw a putter there or a mid. She definitely dissed down for that controllability through the fairway down the hill. So
yeah, knocking that tree at the end, it doesn't kick it. It's just going to drop down.
And Kat here coming with a forehand approach.
Ooh,
Sneaky, sneaky.
I
She
like
dissed
it.
down too there.
That was nice. She missed a lot of trees there.
Just how she drew it up.
Had a good turn on it, too.
Yeah. Alicia with a good forehand, high shot.
She got some distance. She's
well
not,
the way down there.
Yeah. She's not looking too bad on this hole. And then...
Arena with a great shot.
Well, it looks like the middle of the gap. That looks like a really, really nice position. Now, Alex had a really nice straight shot, but just nicked stuff to slow her down at the end. But look at how she's got this hyzer kind of to go through. She's not worrying as much about where, like, hitting that gap.
Beautiful, beautiful. She'll be looking at the basket. That's really where you want to be on after your second shot.
Absolutely. And this is a little pinched off on the left side. I think Kat got a bit more turn on that forehand than she wanted, but still in a great position because she's going up to that gap and she's going to be able to see the basket from there for a distance.
And Alicia trying to punch through.
And that was her third shot. She'll have a long look for that par. Probably just want to make sure she's up there and get that bogey. It's a little bit more stress-free.
Woo! A nice shot there from Arena. Scooting up. She'll have a nice putt.
That was great. She hugged that really nice and tight. And what a straight shot. It does look like an Envy or something. I know MVP has another putter that's very straight.
Well, it definitely earned itself a plastic playback. That was a great shot from Arena. Kat getting fully around that tree with her flick.
Excellent shot. And can Alicia save this par? Ooh, but a good throw. Nice and controlled, so she's not going to be too far for her last putt. But hopefully last putt.
Oof. Going a bit long there. She really was hungry. Hungry for chains, Alexandra.
But like we were saying, you got to be that kind of aggressive when it's the last round.
Yeah, great putt from Kat. Finishing up this hole strong. Taking her par here. Oh, Alexandra missed her putt. You can see the look on her face. She's gonna walk away with a bogey.
And a par for Irina.
She played that hole clean.
She did. Very solid. And like a little, like it was exciting to watch her getting close to those trees. Like it's risky, aggressive, it's fun.
And Alicia's tapping in for her bogey here on hole 3. So we're going to roll right in here all the way to hole 4. Look at this run through overhead view. This is a par 5, 922 feet. I can't believe I'm saying that distance. That's a long way away. Colleen, run us through this hole.
Yeah, big highs are off the hop, and then you really want to get as close as you can to that gap because they're doing like a big turnover after to get through there. So as close as you can get to that gap, but in my opinion, I think you almost want to overhyzer, go a little bit too left on your drive. As long as you're not in the bushes, you're going to have a better position for your second shot.
And sometimes on these long holes, it's about setting up for that second shot. So let's see how Irina does here off the tee.
Yeah, and hopefully a little skip. But she's close to the gap, but like I said, if you're a little bit more left, it's a way easier second shot. So see Kat, you kind of want to get, it's like a mixture of height, distance, and using a distance driver instead of a fairway driver will give you a bit more skip if you're looking to get that bit more skip. Courses like this where it's a bit more dug up grass though is a lot harder than like say when they were playing the golf course.
Yeah, back when they were playing the Huntsville Downs.
Lots of nice skips there.
And Alicia throwing that Discraft, yellow Discraft disc.
And as long as she's not too cut off by that tree, it should be a nice position. She might have to worry about turning it over a little bit less.
Oh, Alexandra finding a little bit of tree action on the fairway there.
That's tough. It looked like she was going to get around it, so she hit the tree that Alicia is just behind right here.
And this is tough, right? Because she's choked up a bit. There's these branches coming down the gap that you have to avoid as well. But Alicia manages to find a way through.
Yeah, and she's going to be way out in the open. So not a big deal if you're going like a little bit too, she had to hyzer it there. So she's probably wanting to be a bit more right, but at least she's open. We had a lot of players the last round kind of cut the trees on the right side a little too close. So they're probably all being a little bit wider for that reason.
Lessons learned, right? Take it into your next round.
That's right.
We got Kat here lining up for her gap shot. She's going to throw a little bit of a turnover. Ooh.
Yeah.
Good shot. Nice and open.
Very nice. She'll have a nice look from there. Be in a good position. Be able to get up and down.
Great tee shot here from Irina.
Wow, great second shot. That was, I think, full distance.
I'm clapping. Great. There's claps coming from the commentary booth here. What a great shot from Irina.
It looked great. Looked so confident.
And Alicia pumping one down there, trying to get some distance, trying to see the basket on her next shot.
Yeah, and she got far enough, which is key. She did hyzer out there, but which is fine as long as you get far enough. So should be in a good spot there.
Oh no. Come back, Kat.
And hopefully that dropped right down.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So this is slightly downhill. Did Alex disc down? Like, it looks like a mid.
It does look middy.
I really wouldn't put it past her. She's a bomber.
She's got that effortless distance we were talking about. And she just saw Kat go right. She might have disc down to make sure that it's more controlled of a shot.
Yeah.
And what a shot here from Irina getting down there.
Oh, she overshot the basket on her third shot. That's amazing. Right. So she's going to be birdie look from, in the trees, but it looks like circle.
Circle birds? Those are nice to get.
Circle 2 birds are even better.
Right?
You have to brag about your score and your putt.
All right, good approach here from Kat. Getting caught up a bit, but she's getting down there towards the basket. Next up, we got Alicia here.
Not bad. That's going to be maybe a straddle, but it's still pretty close. And same with Alex up there. It's tough having trees in the circle, but that's why we learn how to putt in lots of different ways. Up and down from Kat there. She'll be, that was for her 5th.
Ooh, great run.
That was a great birdie run from Irina. I'm sure she's just pleased with the par, though. That's a tough hole.
Just a bit low there from Alicia.
And that was her 5th shot. So she'll be shooting next for a bogey as well. And Alex getting the par. Well played. A 922-foot hole.
Whew. They did it.
It feels like a journey once you finish the end of that because it's tough, but it's also long.
Tough, long conditions. This is round 3 of a 3-round event, so lots of things coming into a factor here at the Northern Ontario Championships presented by Diameter Apparel.
So we got 2 pars and 2 bogeys there, and they're moving on to hole 5.
Oh,
A
yeah.
little bit of a shift in scores because Irina's actually getting a stroke on Alicia there.
Well, let's see what happens here on hole 5. This is a par 3, 213-foot hole. Little bit of a shorter hole here on the course. Colleen, walk us through how you'd play this hole.
Like from the last round, this was the easiest hole. So like we were saying, we saw Irina's shot the last round. If you haven't seen it, go back and look. That's textbook how to play this hole. Nice and low, putter, get a little bit of slide action from the ground, but a putter's going to ensure you don't go too far. Have the opportunity for a birdie look. It is probably a downhill birdie look, but the closer you are, the less stressful. And not bad. She'll still have a look, and she's kind of got a sideways look. So for that putt, that's a little bit less scary.
Yeah, I don't want no downhill putts. I'll take a sideways putt all day, and same kind of with Alexandra here. She'll have a sideways putt at it. Let's see what Kat does.
Ooh, that's a pretty die. Little candy swirl. A tree kick, another tree kick, another tree kick.
And a bounce.
Back into the fairway. Not what she wanted, but she'll take that. You definitely don't want to have a position where you're pitching out on a 200-foot hole. That is hard. Ooh, and we got maybe a pitch out from there.
I felt that. Alicia, I felt that one for you.
Now I wonder how aggressive she's going to be with this, because that's wonderful. Man, that is confidence and trust in your line and good skill. She hit that gap. Unfortunate roll, but
well, really and that's nice. One thing we got to say about this FPO division and this card in general is they have a wealth of confidence behind them.
I think it's so inspiring to go into a tournament where it's like anyone's game, everyone's got their favorites, your friends are all cheering for you, but you really feel like everyone's at such a good level and you compete so close together. So
oof, tough putt there from Alicia, uphill putt from a knee.
So that was for her par save too. She's gonna be putting for 4 from there. And
a little, is it me, is it you, is it me, is it you? It's Irina. So let's see, this is her birdie putt here.
Woo, yeah.
Woo. Gentle woos because of the microphone, but great job, Irina. Crushed that hole. She's played a textbook both rounds.
That was beautiful. And that was a tough putt. Last time she had a tap in, so. That's definitely her hole of the weekend. Oh, that's hard. It's hard because Alicia must have rolled back a bit too.
Yeah, she must have caught a little bit of a rollback. And again, those uphill putts aren't always the easiest, or they can be a bit challenging depending on your stance and how you're feeling confident that day.
Yeah, it looks pretty rocky. And
great putt from Kat Johnson here.
That was beautiful.
Great.
I know we said it was a sideways putt, but that was still really scary.
Yeah, there's always some downhill or like a roll to find, so great putt from Kat, and another good putt there from Alexandra to finish out hole 5.
And we're going to get a 2-stroke swing right now where, a 3-stroke swing. Irina's birdieing that, and Alicia's getting a double bogue. So
movement on the card here. Anything can happen as we roll into hole 6. This is a par 4, 472 feet. Now, if you watch the last round, there's 2 ways to tackle this hole. You can go left or you can go right. Colleen, tell me how you would approach this tee shot.
I liked what Alex did the last round where it's questionable. I don't know what her decisions were if she was going over those trees. But if you can get high and hard enough to get over those trees, it's such a stress-free 3 because you're pitching up to get a 3, like throwing up, hopefully close enough, get a 3, or you're getting a 4 at worst, which is par. But, those trees, if you don't get over them, you're in so much trouble. So, to be honest, I don't know if she was planning it, but she kind of did a hyzer short, and she landed in the gap.
Yeah.
I know she nicked the tree, but I really liked that, because I thought it was just, you could throw a putter, like an overstable putter on that, and just be in that gap, and just go, you're straight through and right there. But I'm interested to see the turnover shot if Alicia does that again. We saw Hannah do the forehand and Alicia do the turnover, like what Alex is lining up here. And it's the same kind of concept I'm saying where you might be far away still, but you're stress-free. You could still birdie that hole.
Yeah, and Alexandra taking a Anheuser or like left side approach.
And Anheuser's out, but she's wide open.
Yeah, great spot for your second shot, especially, you know, course management on a par 4. And Kat saw the route and she's going to try it too. So let's see what happens.
Oh, so she's in the gap, though. She didn't go around, but, like, to be honest, at least she didn't go farther, because being in the middle of that tree would have been terrible.
As the wind is kind of swinging to the big pines, you never know what's going to happen.
And you can see on the camera here, but also probably just see that it is starting to rain. It's not hard, but it is there, and with how cold it is right now on this day, it is quite the conditions to be throwing very stressful shots like that. So
that's going to impact, you know, their grip, their rip, their mental state as well, right? You got like raindrops dripping off your nose and in your face. Like Kat's got her umbrella open. So all that stuff definitely comes into play here on hole 6 at the Northern Ontario Championships presented by Diameter Apparel.
That's right. We still have lots of disc golf left to go, but conditions getting kind of a bit worse. It was a tough hit there from Kat, not going too much closer to the basket, which is tough for her going for her third shot. She's going to really want to place that.
Now Alexandra, wide open off the tee here. This is her second shot. So just trying to put it within range of the basket. She just wants to be able to see the basket on her next shot here.
And it kind of looked like, because she did a standstill, that she didn't want to risk doing a run-up and possibly going too far and taking a 5. It looked like she'd rather just get decent and probably just have a stress-free par.
Ugh, what a heartbreaking rollaway there from Alicia.
And that might be why, you know, Alex wasn't messing with that hill.
Yeah, it doesn't have the long grass as some of the other hills, so there's definitely potential for those rollaways here, especially with the grass getting a little bit wet from the rain.
It's the wrong kind of angle and the right kind of little bump on the ground, and you're rolling. And that settled nice.
Yeah, see, Arena threw a putter there. Alicia's rollaway was a high-speed driver, so catching that edge. Let's see what Kat does here.
Oh, that's pretty...
friendly tree.
Yeah. Pretty decent kick there. And like watching Alex play this hole, she looks like she's not worried about it at all. It was like pretty casual shots all the way up. I think just trying to manage her expectations.
All right, Alicia with a little comeback there, putting it well within her range. Let's see how Alexandra does. She's lining up confident, catches the top side of that rim, and these rollaways, these heartbreaking, oh my goodness, rollaways.
And that was for her 4. She played that hole so nicely. It just a little bit closer, and she, you know, it would have been a probably less stressful putt, but like that's hurtful to be that far away on your 5 when you played the hole so smart.
Yeah, I definitely feel that one for her, and I think we've all can relate, and we've all been there.
So that was for her 5th. She'll be putting for 6 there. And we got Irina here. And that is for her 4. So she's tapping in a par there. That's
well played there from Irina.
nice
And
shots.
after a bit of a struggle too off the tee, she got caught up early on the right hand side, like in those trees, and so like well played.
Yeah, a lot of courses are open like this, and sometimes when you have stuff like these trees behind or a hill, it's all about how you land. So when we were talking about disc choice, but also your distance. If you know exactly how far you throw a shot and exactly how far you throw it when you're doing 100% power, 80% power, 60% power, you're going to be able to make the right choice all the time, which puts you in positions where you're not as stressed out. You're not worrying about a putt because you've gotten close to the basket. You're controlling that distance. Irina does a really good job of that. I think she knows her discs well. It shows that she does a lot of field work.
Yeah, and that's a common theme here throughout this round. Stress-free disc golf as we roll into hole 7. This is a par 3, 337-foot hole, and we have some score swings coming up here as soon as the screen switches up. But for now, Colleen, how would you tackle this hole?
Like we said, this hole is a distance that the women can make, and it's downhill. So I think that it's very manageable. It's all about the right choice. So we saw Hannah doing forehands. I liked that play on this hole, but I was saying it's a bit far for a forehand. I think we're going to see a lot of backhand turnovers, and you're going to really want to make sure you don't go super high, because if you go nose up, it airs out and then it hyzers out, even if it's an understable disc. So really want to have that angle precision. Now, on that last hole, shout out to Alicia, who is the only person to birdie that par 4 on hole 6. Great job. She's not been on the lead card this weekend, but just a nice shout out. Great playing. Nice drive there. Not in the rough, but there.
All right, Kat. Getting around that tree, she'll find herself in the open.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean about you don't want to go turn over too much, but you don't want to nose up too much. So it was a good middle ground. She's still in the fairway.
And Alicia is going to take a around the look, trying to get around that big guard pine there in the middle of the fairway. And we were talking about score swings. So Alicia, as going into this round, she had a confident 5-stroke lead, and now Alicia and Irina are tied up at 11 over. Alexandra's chasing at 15 over, and Kat not too far behind at 24. So lots of golf left. Time to make it exciting, ladies.
That's right.
So a little bit off to the right-hand side there, Alexandra. You can see that not exactly what she intended, but I'm confident she's going to make it up from there. And Alicia with a good flick up shot. And Kat with...
There we go.
Nice putt.
Tough spot for Irina, but, she's got a putt from there.
Punch through the woods.
Yeah, it's hard when there's a branch in your way and you're just like, I just don't know if it's going to, not affect it or totally nick it off the wrong way. Just goes haywire.
Good
Nice.
putt from Irina. She's going to walk away with her par here. Alicia's also going to walk away with her par. And big smiles, waving at the camera. Kat also walking away with a par.
Perfectly balanced.
Yeah. With style and grace.
And Alex looking like she's on the phone. I do believe there was a question about Alex even being able to play this weekend with regards to work. So she figured out a way to make it work, and she's crushing it.
Hey, making it work and playing and putts, she's going to take a bogey here, but I like the effort to make it for an event like this. So.
I love that. She's playing disc golf for money right now, and that's how committed she is to her job. So if you're her boss, give her a raise.
And now... talking about raises, we got a little bit of elevation here on hole 8. It is a downward slope. It is a par 3, 373 feet. A little bit of a dog-leg right. So Colleen, walk us through this hole.
Another turnover for me, and I'm not a strong forehander, but we would suggest a forehand here. It's just 373 feet is pretty tough, but with the downhill slope, it makes it a lot shorter. So, anything that you feel the most confident, and like we saw in the last round, if you go back and watch that coverage, we had some phenomenal drives on this hole, but you need to make sure it doesn't turn over too much. You want it to turn, you do not want it to be way into that right side trees and then you're pitching out and you're in jail or something.
Yeah, you really want to land in that landing zone. Colleen talked about it in the last round. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out on Canadian Disc Golf Productions on YouTube. Like, follow, and subscribe while you're there. And Irina finding that landing zone that we are talking about right now.
That's right. Now, with this shot, we saw a few shots that were really nicely turned over, but a little too low. And so you do want to get a bit of height, even though it's downhill, just to make sure it keeps turning. You really want to have it hold. Not bad that it hyzers out like that. Kat's probably happy she didn't go any farther than that, so she's managing staying on the fairway.
Alicia will also find that landing zone.
And that's the turn we want to see, but not the height I was talking about. If she had a bit more height, it could have coasted more.
Lots of things to consider in a shot like this. You know, stuff on the left, stuff on the right. Got to hit a zone. Got to see the basket. So many things.
And we get the catch cam footage of this one. Look at that come in. So nice.
Great shot from Alexandra. From the phone to the fairway.
Plastic playback. She is not fazed by that phone call and just crushing it. And I feel like her drive the first round was phenomenal, but this is better. This is just... Oh, and it even nicked a little branch there. So she could have gone farther.
Yeah, so
slowed it down.
This, ladies and gentlemen at home, this is textbook here. This is how you want to play it on a backhand.
Absolutely. And just to go that far down the hole, but also be so perfectly in the fairway, can't ask for more than that.
And Arena with a good up, run it, right there for her par.
I love that. That was like full power putter approach, but a run, it was everything. It's everything we needed, Irina. Thank you.
And that's the power of disking down, right? We've been talking about that through the 3 rounds, making a good disc selection choice, disking down to get more control out of it. All these things you should be trying at home.
So that one too, like just like Alicia's drive, had she had that putt a little higher, it would have had the time to coast.
Ooh, what a good effort. Tickling some chains there from Alexandra.
Alexandra is wild. Like, so, you know, she's had a few tough holes with putting and then just does stuff like this that you're like, you're amazing.
And she earns the plastic playback. Let's see that again.
Oh, so good. A matter of like a centimeter, right? Just a slight higher putt.
Now Alicia lining up for her putt here. What a putt. Misses consistent. Her putting's really been on throughout all 3 rounds, and you know, it shows that she puts in the practice here, and let's see that again.
Look at that balance too. She didn't lift her feet. She didn't fall forward. Like, she's very strong in her legs. I think that really shows in her putting. I think too she might have been a little inspired by Alexandra. It is very inspiring when someone makes a putt in front of you and you're up next and you're like all jacked up because you're like so happy for them. And
yeah, that energy definitely transfers on a card when everyone's playing well. You know, we pick each other up.
Yeah. And like we said, if you decide to move up to FPO and join us, it is, you know, don't ever feel like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. Always be like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to do that. You can. You really can. Confidence is everything.
Kat here lining up for her putt. Ugh.
Just that AM side spit out. It's tough. You want to hit dead center, but if you're going to miss a side, miss the pro side.
Yeah, pro side for sure. So Kat's going to walk away with a double bogey here. I hate to say it.
Hate to see it, but, you know, we know she can make that back.
Still a solid effort.
I mean, look at what she did yesterday, right? She was on the chase card and played herself back up to the lead card.
Yeah, and Arena finishing strong here. She's going to walk away with her par.
And she's been coasting. She's currently even on this round, right? So, through 8 holes.
Yeah, only birdie so far.
Chasing the leader, that feels really good. And yeah, we got only half a round left. We've been saying, oh, so much disc golf left, but we've got one hole on this back nine.
Yeah, we're coming up to the end of it here, and this is the last hole in the front 9, hole 9. This is a par 4. It is 560 feet, so a couple different challenges with this fairway and tackling the green. Colleen, walk us through it.
Yeah, I like the gap. If you go back and see what Alicia did the first round, I like the sneaky gap on the left side. It's very important. We talked about how vital it is to get out of that gap. Don't hit one of those trees. If you just land anywhere flat and open, you're going to have a prime second shot. We saw Alex with a pump from that area. It was her third shot, I think, but she pumped it and was in the circle. So it is very possible for these ladies to get a 3 on this hole. But that first shot is so key. So we can see the gap, the big gap, and then just a little bit left, you can see that little skinny gap. So it's a lot of ladies are likely going to take that.
And let's see how Irina does on the tee box here, leading us off on hole 9.
Nice and low. I love that. She got a little skip, but there's a few trees there, so we'll see how open she is.
And Alicia throwing a putter for that controlled, beautiful. That's a textbook shot.
I don't know if it's Sudbury or what, but she has that dialed in. It's maybe a hole in her course that it's similar to, but she did the exact same thing the first round, and it looks so casual. Like she's very confident in that particular tight gap layup.
Yeah, well, the Sudbury Disc Golf Course, the Lions Club Sudbury Disc Golf Course is tight, wooded holes like this, and if you haven't been up that way to the north, definitely check it out, and I think that's where Alicia gets a lot of her strengths in the forest here.
Yeah.
And rounding out the card on this tee pad is Kat Johnson. Let's see how she does. I think also disking down.
I think so, and that looks perfect. I mean, you're not as out as you want to be, but you're in a flat spot that's open. So
give me a flat spot open without trees in the way. That's what you want all day.
Primo parking.
Oh, heartbreak.
I love the smile that she's going, that's the course.
Lots of trees to hit at Wolf Tracks at Bondi Resort.
Good attitude is required here.
You got to take your disc golf lumps and bumps, kids.
Yeah, this isn't a course you walk into and go, like in the FPO division, we're not walking in and going, I'm shooting 8 down. It's like, I hope I par. It is tough. It's challenging. It asks for all kinds of shots. There's a lot of danger. There's a lot of trouble without a lot of OB.
Yeah, so Kat here, she made herself into a great position for this second shot. And she's going to send one down there.
And I like what she's doing. Not too much. She's just on the edge there. She'll have a look.
Alicia's in a great spot too. Oh, I like the way that disc flies.
That's flat. That's a nice throw.
Mm-hmm.
Good form. If you're going to look at people throwing, Alicia's got some of the best form in FPO for Ontario right now. She is very, very consistent. I mean, they all are.
And Alexandra putting it within that putt range.
Humping it. And that goes to show her distance, man. I love that.
Yeah, very effortless distance from Alexandra throughout all of these rounds, throughout the event here at the Northern Ontario Championships presented by Diameter Apparel. And Irina taking her up shot here. This is shot 3 for her.
And I think it's a good par 4 for them because it is such a tough first shot that it almost, like the 560 feet, feels too far for it to be a 3.
Yeah.
Like you can't, we certainly wouldn't be getting a birdie if it was a 3. But
right off the top there for Alicia.
Beauty. And get up from Kat.
Yeah, this is, I agree with you, Colleen. This is a good par 4 hole. It's challenging enough, but they were all there able to make their 4, right? So
yeah. And it's all about that first shot being safe, second shot being...
Oh, those are a heartbreak. I don't know if that's cold or conditions, but that was dead center in the middle and popped back out. So we feel for you, Irina, on that putt.
Oh, man, that's one of those that hits the pole. The chains open up and it hits that pole and bounces out.
Especially with those colder discs in this climate, it gets a little bit bouncy more than grabby. And, unfortunately, Irina is going to walk away with a bogey there.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people change their putters as they get towards winter because they'll go for a softer putter. In the winter, it just gets so stiff that you don't want something that's already stiff in the summer.
Mm-hmm. All right, and these ladies tapping out here on hole 9 at the Northern Ontario Championships presented by Diameter Apparel.
And we got a tight race here. We got 2 tied in the lead. So we have a very exciting back 9 coming to you. Alicia in the lead by 1 stroke. But it's a very, very exciting back nine and very tight race. Anyone's game, really. I mean, you could have some of these other ladies come back because there's so many opportunities for you to hit trees and score poor. So
yeah, quick thanks to our sponsors: Diameter Apparel, Wolf Track Disc Golf Course at Bondi, Top Lake Disc Golf Supply, More Propane Limited. We also want to thank Gripped and Ripped Disc Golf who are helping run this event.
Yes, and PDGA Canada and the OCC Tour. So come back and join us for the back nine of this final round.
Yeah, and make sure to like and subscribe if you like this coverage. Please like and subscribe. Follow Canadian Disc Golf Productions on YouTube for more local disc golf coverage content like this.